In order to create your outline, you're going to need to go back to your annotated bibliography. And I'm going to pull up this little sample annotated bibliography that we looked at earlier. You'll notice in this sample, the information that is provided here gives you some details about what it is that was included in that article. What I would like you to do for each one of the details that are given within the annotated bibliography, go back and try to make yourself a list of the main points or the main ideas that stick out to you within the context of that particular source. I would say to go back to the actual document itself, print it out, and then make you a little list of the main ideas or the main points over here to the side. You're basically just going through and actually telling what the article was about, like what kind of things were covered specifically in that article that helped support your thesis statement. After you've gone through and you've made your main ideas and you've made a list of those things, this little handout right here kind of walks you through the process of doing this if you were kind of doing it in print form. It says that you're having the main point or main idea of each source, as we just mentioned on the annotated bibliography. If you've printed the information out, of course, you can divide it up and stack it into groups according to the main points or main ideas. But if you've just actually listed them by typing them onto the Word document, that's perfectly fine also. Your main goal is to go through and try to see whether or not you can break down some big heading categories in order to develop your outline. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that topic that you have, that broad topic that you were given, that you've narrowed down with that argumentative side in that thesis statement, and you're going to find the ways that you're going to map out your paper. This particular example here dealt with smoking and using tobacco. This person went through and actually divided up the categories into health risk, money that's spent marketing tobacco, and specifically how nicotine companies actually market tobacco. The person decided to go through and divide those up into those three different categories, and those are going to be the categories that the actual paper is going to use whenever the body of the essay is written. What I want you to do is at least have three specific main points or ideas that you're going to cover within the context of the paper, and at least two of those need to have an A and a B. Now keep in mind you can have more than an A and a B, but you cannot have an A without a B. You can have A, B, C, D, etc., but the A must have a B whenever you're dividing this up into subtopics. So you need to have at least three specific main points or main ideas that will be covered, and two of those have to have subtopics. Once you develop these main ideas and you've listed them down and you've tried to categorize how it is that you want to set up your paper, you're going to go through and you're going to organize all these main points in a logical order to help you develop what the outline is going to look like. Your outline needs to be a topic outline, which means that you're going to use the fewest possible words that you can, and you want to actually only list topics, no sentences on the outline except for the thesis statement. I'm going to show you specifically where that will be in just a second. Whenever you're looking at the outline, notice that the capitalization is that each one of the first words is capitalized, but none of the other words are capitalized. And you need to follow that particular rule whenever you're laying out and mapping out what it is that needs to be done in the outline. If there is a proper noun anywhere in here, you'll capitalize it, but only the first words are the ones that are capitalized typically. There are no periods behind each one of these items because, of course, they're not sentences. So do not put periods behind here, but be sure that you put periods behind your A's and B's whenever you have those subtopics. Everyone's paper is going to have at least three specific areas that will be focused upon within the body of the paper, and two of those have to have an A and a B. Now, of course, you can have four specific areas if you want to, because the minimum is three. All of these can have subtopics, but remember your subtopics have to follow the A-B rule. Everybody's paper will start with Roman numeral 1 introduction, and everybody's paper will end with whatever Roman numeral you end upon with conclusion. Notice that the words introduction and conclusion are used because that's the beginning and the end. I've provided an example outline for you here, and you'll notice the word outline is centered at the top. The thesis statement that was approved at the beginning of the trimester is listed up here at the top, and notice that all of this is double spaced all the way throughout. Roman numerals 1 and 5 are listed as introduction and conclusion, and you'll notice here that this person has three specific areas that he or she is going to focus upon, and two of those have subtopics. This is following the directions that are given for you up here whenever it says that you have to have three areas, three Roman numerals that specifically divide up the sections of your paper, and two of them have to have an A and a B. So whenever you're setting up your outline, remember that you're looking for the main points or the main ideas that are within each article, and you want to make sure that your main points or main ideas are mapped out in the order that you want to actually set the paper in. If you have any questions, remember, contact me via Canvas inbox.